Hello friends, it is wonderful to have you with me again today. I've got another little presentation that I've put together for you, and like always, it's a little bit different. I thought with Christmas and the holiday season coming up, I thought I would research a little bit of a controversial topic. That is the villains of Christmas. Because all the good guys always get the publicity, right? Santa Claus and the elves and whichever good guys are prominent in your culture. So I thought, why not look at the bad guys? The guys that cause havoc over Christmas. And in England, we don't really have like a bad guy, so to say. But I found bad guys all over the world. Ones that come out during Christmas time or like December to January time. So if you want to download this PDF and follow along with me, then I will link where you can do that down in the description. As sometimes, as you know, the text is a little small, so it's easier to read as you go along. So let's get started. So let's start with one bad guy that most of us probably recognize, and that is Krampus. Krampus. And I wasn't really aware of the Krampus figure until maybe 10 years ago, when there was a really bad film that came out called Krampus. Well, it wasn't bad, it was just really cheesy and corny, but that was the first time I had kind of been introduced to this kind of evil Santa figure. But we're going to read a little bit more about who Krampus is and why he's such a bad guy. So, the history of Krampus figure stretches back to pre-Christian Alpine traditions. Krampus appears in many variations. Most share the same common physical characteristics. He is hairy, usually brown or black, and has the cloven hooves and horns of a goat. His long, pointed tongue lolls out, as you can see here, and he has fangs. Krampus carries chains, as you can see here, thought to symbolize the binding of the devil by the Christian church. He also carries bundles of birch branches, which he occasionally swats at children. You can see them there. Sometimes Krampus appears with a sack or a basket strapped to his back. You can see that there. This is to cart off evil children for drowning, eating, or transport to hell. Essentially, Krampus is the evil demon anti-Santa, or maybe his evil twin. He is used by parents to encourage children to behave in the year leading up to Christmas. You can see here, he's carting off these two kids. She's really happy about it. She's like, yeah, take my brother, he annoys me. These kids are like fleeing. Not sure about the physiology of this. He's running this way, but his head's facing this way. That's quite interesting. And he's like leaving his friend behind. Save yourself. So that's Krampus. Now, next bad guy. I've tried desperately to try and pronounce this properly, and there's a couple of different monsters, I guess you can call them, that are quite hard to pronounce. So for any of you out there who this is your resident Christmas bad guy, I apologize in advance. So these dudes are called the Karakonklos. Karakonklos. At least I think that's what how you say it. So the Karakonklos is generally portrayed as a cross between the devil and a Sasquatch. In Turkey, he would stand at street corners on winter nights, asking riddles to passers-by. If the traveller gave an answer that included the word black, they were free to go on their way. If not, he would strike them dead in a single blow. Oh, that's mean. The Karakonklos' favourite trick was to disguise their voice to pretend to be someone's friend or relative and lure their intended victim out into the snow. Or he would set them in a trance and leave them to roam free. In Serbia, the legend has it that the Karakonklos prefer to jump on the victim's back and use them as a personal taxi service. The exhausted person was only released at dawn. And if you invited a Karakonklos into your house, they would feel compelled to imitate their host's behaviour. So if you set fire to a silk thread, the Karakonklos would be tricked into setting fire to its own fur and would run from the house screaming to find water. So that's the way you get rid of them. I couldn't find an accurate depiction of the Karakonklos, but here is a picture here. They look pretty scary, right? So that's the Karakonklos. Next up, we have an equally tricky name to pronounce, and I'll try my best. It's the Calicanaris. Killcanaris. At least I think so. It's a Greek word. So, who are these guys? Stories about the Calicanaris can be found in Greece, Bulgaria, Serbia, Albania, Bosnia, and Cyprus. Calicanaris are believed to dwell underground, but come to the surface during the 12 days of Christmas, from the 25th of December to the 6th of January. It is believed that the Calicanaris stay underground, soaring the world tree, so like the tree of life, so that it will collapse. However, when they are about to soar the final part, Christmas dawns, and they are able to come to the surface. They forget all about the tree and come to bring trouble to mortals. Finally, on Epiphany, which is the 6th of January, they must return underground to continue their soaring, but in their absence, the world tree has healed itself, so they must start working all over again. Many Greeks have imagined them as tall, black and hairy. You can see the hair on his back here, on his legs, with burning red eyes, goats or donkeys' ears, monkeys' arms, tongues that hang out, and heads which are huge. Nonetheless, the most common belief is that they are small black creatures, humanoid apart from their long black tails, and said to resemble little black devils. They are also mostly blind, speak with a lisp, and love to eat frogs, worms, and other small creatures. It appears that this guy is actually urinating. It's funny. So, how does one protect oneself from these critters? There were many ways people could protect themselves from the Killcanaris. One method was to leave a colander on the doorstep. Calicanaris could not count above 2. 3 was believed to be a holy number, and by pronouncing it, the Killcanaris would supposedly kill itself. The Killcanaris would sit at the doorstep all night, counting each hole of the colander, until the sun rose and it was forced to hide. Any child born during the 12 days of Christmas was in danger of transforming into a Killcanaris during each Christmas season. It was believed that the antidote to prevent this transformation was to bind the baby in ropes of garlic or straw, or to singe the child's toenails. According to another legend, anyone born on a Saturday could see and talk with the Killcanaris. So they're very interesting kind of creatures. Seem a little bit stupid if you ask me, but nevertheless they are quite mischievous. So that's the Killcanaris. Next we have quite a scary villain, and her name is Frau Birchda. And you can see she looks mean as hell. So, Frau Birchda is a figure of Alpine folklore of Austria and Germany. Tales told in Germany and Austria, Frau Birchda hands out both rewards and punishments during the 12 days of Christmas, December 25th through to Epiphany, January 6th. Her appearance would all depend on how you perceived her and whether you had pleased her. If you were faithful, obedient, and observed her rituals, such as eating a traditional meal and special cakes baked in her honor, she would appear to you as a woman of divine beauty. But if you angered her, she would appear as a demonic horned monster with a ferocious bloodlust. She would sneak into your room whilst you slept, slit your belly open, and replace your innards with pebbles and straw, and sometimes even garbage. The following day, whoever discovered your corpse would assume you had simply died in your sleep. So, don't anger Frau Birchda. And make sure you bake those cakes. So next we have quite an interesting one, because these guys aren't necessarily bad guys, but they started out bad and then kind of evolved into more jolly, friendly, good guys. And they are known as the Yule Lads, and something similar would probably be like the Seven Dwarfs, but obviously a lot more. So again, I'll try to pronounce this name and the names of the Yule Lads. They're Icelandic names, and I don't know how to speak and how to pronounce these words, so I do apologise for any mispronunciation. Please correct me in the comments. So they're called the Jólasveinar, or Yule Lads, and they are 13 Icelandic trolls who each have a name and distinct personality. These merry but mischievous fellows take turns visiting kids on the 13 nights leading up to Christmas. One Yule Lad a day between the 12th and the 24th of December. On each of those nights, children place one of their shoes on the windowsill. For good children, the Yule Lad will leave candy. If not, the Yule Lads fill the shoe with rotting potatoes. So far not so bad, right? However, historically, the Yule Lads were much more vicious, and in the 18th century, telling stories of the Yule Lads' behaviour was a competitive activity, as each storyteller tried to outdo the last with shocking tales of gruesome brutality and gratuitous violence. So like the Saw films of Christmas. The tales got so out of hand that in 1746 a public decree banned the foolish custom of scaring children with the Yuletide lads and ghosts. Oh, that's no fun. I wonder if that rule still applies today. Anybody who knows, please let me know. So these are the Yule Lads. Don't they look very jolly? This is their cat, which we'll move on to in a minute. So they do look real happy and mischievous. These are their parents at the back here, and we'll talk about her in a minute. So, who were they? So, I'm not going to even try and pronounce these Icelandic names. I'm just going to embarrass myself. So, we're going to just read the English translation. So, you have sheep coat clod, and what he did is harasses sheep. He harassed the sheep, but is impaired by his stiff peg legs. He comes out 12th of December and he leaves on the 25th of December. You have a gully gawk who hides in gullies, waiting for an opportunity to sneak into the cowshed and steal milk. He comes out 13th of December and leaves on the 26th of December. You have Stubby, who of course is abnormally short, and he steals pans to eat the crust left on them. He wouldn't in my house because I love the crust on pans. I know that's really, really gross, but especially when you've made like a lasagna or a pasta bake, I love love all the burnt cheese on the pan. Please tell me somebody else does too. He comes out 14th of December to the 27th of December. Spoon licker. He steals and licks wooden spoons and is extremely thin due to malnutrition. It's a bit sad. Again, no wooden spoons in my house. They've all been licked. He comes out on the 15th of December, leaves on the 28th of December. Pot scraper. Steals leftovers from pots, as the name suggests. He comes out 16th of December to the 29th of December. Then you have bowl licker, and he hides under beds, waiting for somebody to put down their askur, which is a type of bowl with a lid used instead of dishes, which then he steals. And he comes out 17th of December to the 30th of December. Then you have door slammer. As the name suggests, he likes to slam doors, especially during the night, waking people up. He comes out the 18th of December to the 31st of December. Skier gobbler has a great affinity to skyr, similar to yogurt. He comes out 19th of December to the 1st of January. Sausage swiper hides in the rafters and snatches sausages that are being smoked. 20th of December to the 2nd of January. That's his little time slot. Window peeper, a snoop who looks through windows in search of things to steal. He comes out the 21st of December to the 3rd of January. Doorway sniffer. He has an abnormally large nose and an acute sense of smell, which he uses to locate leaf bread, laufbrot. Comes out the 22nd of December to the 4th of January. Meat hook uses a hook to steal meat. He comes out 23rd of December and goes away the 5th of January. Candle stealer follows children in order to steal their candles, which were once made of tallow and thus edible. Tallow being like rendered fat, I think. He comes out the 24th of December to the 6th of January. So you can kind of see where the horror stories come from, especially this guy with the peg legs and this guy with a meat hook. You can see how people's imaginations would run away with them. So those are the Yule lads. So we saw the cats, right? This guy here, which looks really not impressed. So he is known as Yolaktorin, or the Yule cat. Yolaktorin. So the Yule lads also had a pet cat, who was perhaps the most terrifying creature of all. Yolaktorin was a huge, ferocious beast with razor-like whiskers, blazing eyes, and terrible claws, who consumed any child who did not receive new clothes on Christmas Day. Now you might be thinking, that's a little bit strange, and clothes are like the lamest gift, right, on Christmas when you're a kid. Not now as an adult. Like, I love receiving clothes as gifts. But when you're a kid, all you want is toys, right? So, Yolaktorin's origins may have come from the Dark Ages, where all family members were tasked with chores related to wool production. Since the only thing a family could afford for Christmas was woolen clothes as gifts, it was only possible if everyone completed their tasks in time. Thus, the legend of Yolo was born to scare children and lazy adults into completing their work. And he was a big guy. Look at that. Really scary cat. Though I'm sure he's not so mean, right? I wouldn't want to be eaten by him though. So I'm sure, like all cats, he wouldn't eat you right away, but he would pat you around like a toy. So that's Yoloktorin. So directly going off of Yoloktorin and the Yolets, this is Grilla, their mother. Look at this. She has these horns, hook nose, long fingers, and these long nails, and these strange long ears. So, all the Yule lads answer to Grilla, their mother. She predates the Yule lads in Icelandic legend as the ogress who kidnaps, cooks, and eats children who don't obey their parents. She only became associated with Christmas in the 17th century when she was assigned to be the mother of the Yule lads. According to legend, Grilla had 3 different husbands and 72 children. Wow. All caused trouble, ranging from harmless mischief to murder. And if the household wasn't crowded enough, the Yule cat also lives with Grilla. During Christmas time, she comes from the mountains to search nearby towns for her meal. She leaves her cave, hunts children, and carries them home in her giant sack. She devours children as her favorite snack. Her favorite dish is a stew of naughty kids for which she has an insatiable appetite. Yum, yum, yum. So, in a way, it kind of reminds me of the witch in Hansel and Gretel, who eats the kids. There's a lot of kid eating in this, I just realised. But I suppose the only way to get your children to behave right, something's going to come and gobble them up. So who's this guy? This guy is Hans Trap. And Hans Trap, or the Christmas Scarecrow, is well known in the French regions of Alsace and Lorraine. Hans Trap, according to the story, lived in the 1400s, and he was a rich, powerful, and merciless man who was feared by the people of Alsace. His thirst for power was so great that he turned to deals with the devil to enhance his power and status. Hearing of this, the Pope himself excommunicated Trap, after which he was banished from Alsace and his wealth and lands confiscated. Trap was reduced to constructing a makeshift home in the mountains of Bavaria in Germany. Here he continued to brood, and his evil desires festered, and he slowly descended into madness. It is said that Trap disguised himself in straw and waited on lonely roads for a victim. When one day a boy aged around 10 happened across his path, and Trap stabbed the unfortunate shepherd's boy with a vicious, sharp stick. With the body safely back at his lair, Trap sliced it into pieces and roasted it, but before he could eat it, he was struck by a divine lightning bolt and killed. Today, naughty children are warned that Hans Trap's spirit lingers on, and that he may visit them in his scarecrow disguise if they don't behave. I mean, I would be terrified. These kids are beside themselves. These kids are like, yay! Because this is the good person of Christmas. And this is his hand strap here. It does look pretty scary. So that's Hans Trap. So this guy here is known as Pierre Foutard, or Father Whipper, or Old Man Whipper. And he is a character who accompanies St. Nicholas, on his rounds during St. Nicholas Day, which is the 6th of December, dispensing lumps of coal and or beatings to naughty children, while St. Nicholas gets all the praise and gives gifts to the well-behaved. He is known mainly in the far north and eastern regions of France, in the south of Belgium, and in French-speaking Switzerland. The most popular story about the origin of Pierre Foutard was first told in the year 1252. An innkeeper, or a butcher in other versions, captures 3 boys who appear to be wealthy and on their way to enroll in a religious boarding school. Along with his wife, he kills the children in order to rob them. One gruesome version tells that they drug the children, slit their throats, cut them into pieces, and stew them in a barrel. There's a lot of children eating in this. St. Nicholas discovers the crime and resurrects the children. After this, Pierre Foutard repents and becomes St. Nicholas's partner. A slightly different version of this story claims that St. Nicholas forced Pierre Foutard to become his assistant as a punishment for his crimes. The most common depiction of Pierre Foutard is a man with a sinister face. It doesn't look too sinister in this picture. Dressed in dark robes, which are scraggly and unkempt hair, messy, and a long beard. He is armed with a whip there, and a large stick or bundles of switches. Sometimes he wears a wicker backpack. I think this is a sack, which children can be placed and carried away. So, he sounds like a horrible guy, right? That's Pierre Foutard. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this little presentation. Let me know if you have any more bad guys where you come from, and the stories that are associated with them. I would love to know. I just kind of remembered one in this country that's just come to my head, and I don't know why I didn't think about it before, but that's Jack Frost. Although I don't think he's necessarily a bad guy, necessarily. I think he's just the guy who brings the frost. I don't think he actually eats children or anything. So, again, thank you for listening. If you want to download this, I'll make a link available in the description. So I wish you a very lovely rest of your day, or whatever you're doing. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care. Bye bye.